What is the use of the zeros function in NumPy in Python? To create an array or matrix with all elements initialized to 0. To create an array with only its diagonal elements initialized to 0. To create an array where only the first row's elements are initialized to 0. None of these. Which of the following is not a valid namespace? Global namespace, public namespace, built-in namespace, local namespace. What can you use to convert a string to a list of characters? List str, chr. None of these. What does pip stand for in Python? Unlimited length. All private members must have leading and trailing underscores. Preferred installer program. None of the mentioned. Which of these is the definition for packages in Python? A set of main modules. A folder of Python modules. A number of files containing Python definitions and statements. A set of programs making use of Python modules. What is the correct order of namespaces in which Python searches for an identifier? Python first searches the built-in namespace, then the global namespace, and finally the local namespace. Python first searches the built-in namespace, then the local namespace, and finally the global namespace. Python first searches the local namespace, then the global namespace, and finally the built-in namespace. Python first searches the global namespace, then the local namespace, and finally the built-in namespace. Which of the following concepts is not a direct feature in Python? Pointers, loops, dynamic typing, all of the above. In Python, what is the primary use of the tell method? It tells the end position within the file. It tells the current position within the file. It tells us if the file is opened. None of the above. Which of these statements is not true about recursion? A recursive function can always be replaced by a non-recursive function. The memory space taken by recursive functions is generally more than that of non-recursive functions. Running a recursive function is generally faster compared to a non-recursive function. The process of recursion often makes it easier for programmers to understand certain programs. Which function typically removes the last element from a list, or an element at a specified position? Pop, remove, dispose. None of these. Which of these is not a direct member, attribute or function, of the SYS module? SYS, ARGV, SYS, redline, SYS, path, SYS, platform. Which of the following is an advantage of using functions? Decomposing complex problems into simpler pieces. Reducing duplication of code. Both A and B. None of the above. What is the correct syntax for the file? Write lines method, file. Write lines sequence, file object. Write lines file object. Write lines sequence. None of the mentioned.
अगर आप CCC या O लेवल के स्टूडेंट हैं तो पेश है आपके लिए आपके सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड 1500 प्लस MCQs। इसमें क्वेश्चंस हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में हैं, शॉर्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन है और आपके डाउट सॉल्व करने के लिए ChatGPT की सपोर्ट है। अगर आप इसे ट्राई करना चाहते हैं तो प्ले स्टोर से एंकी ड्रॉइड डाउनलोड करें और हमारी वेबसाइट asmcqs.gt.tc पर जाकर अपने सब्जेक्ट के फ्री सैंपल सेट डाउनलोड करें और एंकी ड्रॉइड में इंपोर्ट करके इस्तेमाल करना शुरू करें। अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो बाय नाउ पर क्लिक करके गूगल फॉर्म फिल करें। हम आपका 1500 प्लस क्वेश्चन का सेट 1 से 6 घंटे के अंदर आपके व्हाट्सएप नंबर और ईमेल पर भेज देंगे।
Which of the following is the proper syntax to check if a particular element is present in a list? L in list. Not L not in list. Both of the above. None of these. PIPI stands for Python Package Index. Python Package Installer. Both A and B. None of the above. Which one of the following has the highest precedence in an expression? Exponentiation, parentheses, multiplication, none of the above. The primary function of a compiler is to put together the files and functions required by the program, translate the instructions into a form suitable for execution by the computer, load the executable code into memory and execute it, allow the user to type the program. Identify the correct sequence of steps to run a program. Link, load, code, compile, and execute. Code, compile, link, execute, and load. Code, compile, link, load, and execute. Compile, code, link, load, and execute. The meaning of bug is a difficult syntax error in a program, logical error in a program. Both A and B, all of the above. Advantages of using flowcharts are effective analysis, proper documentation, efficient coding, all of the above. Actual instructions in flowcharting are represented in blank boxes, circles, arrows, all of the above. The correctness and appropriateness of an blank solution can be checked very easily. Algorithmic, heuristic, random, none of these. Which of the following functions returns a string with the first letter of every word in uppercase and the rest in lowercase, capitalized title upper, swap case? What is the full form of PVM? Python Visual Machine, Python Visual Mode, Python Virtual Machine, Python Virtual Mode. What is an alternative description or name for pseudocode? False code, a representation of code. Both A and B, none of these. What are the two main measures for the efficiency of an algorithm? Processor and memory, complexity and capacity, time and space, data and space. What programming construct executes a set of statements based on a conditional test? Looping, selective, sequence, none of the above. What programming construct executes a set of statements repeatedly based on a conditional test? Looping, selective, sequence, none of the above. What is the graphical representation of an algorithm called? program, flowchart, statement, algorithm. All instructions are executed one after another. Looping, selective, sequence, none. In a flowchart, a calculation process is represented by a rectangle, a rhombus, a parallelogram, a circle. In a flowchart, a parallelogram is used to show general input symbol, operation on data, online use of keyboard, output data screen. What is an algorithm? A flowchart. Step-by-step instructions used to solve a problem. A flowchart or pseudocode. A decision. What is a diagram that represents steps or operations involved in any kind of process called? System diagram. Management hierarchy. Flowcharts. Convenience diagrams. In a flowchart, what shape represents an input or output instruction? A rectangle, a rhombus, a parallelogram, a circle. Connectors used to connect flowchart symbols to each other are classified as arrow lines, symbols, annotation, special symbols. An algorithm that calls itself directly or indirectly is known as sub-algorithm, recursion, Polish notation, traversal algorithm. Part of an algorithm which is repeated for a fixed number of times is classified as iteration, selection, sequence, reverse action. In flowcharts, what does a diamond-shaped symbol typically represent? Decision box, statement box, error box, if statement box. When an algorithm is written using a specific programming language, what does it become? Flowchart, program, pseudocode, syntax. What does the diamond-shaped symbol represent in flowcharts? Decision, initialization, input-output, none of mentioned. What will be the output of the following pseudocode? Integer a, b set a equals 9, b equals 5 a equals a mod a3, b equals b mod b3, print a plus b4. 5, 9, 8. Which of the following symbols is used for input and output operations in a flowchart? Rectangle, parallelogram, circle, diamond. A process is expressed in a flowchart by which symbol? Rectangle, circle, parallelogram, diamond. Flowcharts and algorithms are used for better programming, easy testing and debugging, efficient coding, all. The process of drawing a flowchart for an algorithm is called performance, algorithmic representation, evaluation, flowcharting. In a flowchart, which of the following is used to test a condition? Terminal, process, input-output, decision. A detailed flowchart is known as micro, union, macro, stack. What will be the output of the following pseudocode? Integer a, b set a equals 10 set b equals 5 a equals a mod a6 b equals b mod b2 print a, b4. 0, 1, 8. A detailed flowchart is called as stack, macro, micro, union. Which of the following symbols is used to represent output in a flowchart? Square, circle, parallelogram, triangle. The kite diamond symbol in a flowchart is used for blank, execution, decision, statement, all of the above. Which symbol is used as a flowline to connect two blocks in a flowchart? Arrow, circle, box, parallelogram. Which symbol in a flowchart is used for performing the addition of two numbers? Control flow, terminal, processing, decision. Which of the following is not a control structure? Loop, process, decision. None of these. A pictorial representation of an algorithm is called a statement, program, flowchart, all of the above. What is the connector symbol in a flowchart? Circle, parallelogram, diamond, all of the above. What is the oval shape used for in a flowchart? Input, output, decision, arithmetic instruction, start, stop. Which symbol is used for decision making in a flowchart? Diamond, oval, square, both A and B. Is Python case sensitive when dealing with identifiers? Yes, no, machine dependent, none of the mentioned. Which of the following is an invalid variable? My underscore string underscore 1, first underscore string, foo, underscore myver. Which of the following is an invalid statement? ABC equals 1 million. ABC equals 1000, 2000, 3000. A, B, C equals 1000, 2000, 3000. A underscore B underscore C equals 1 million. Which of the following cannot be a variable? Underscore underscore init underscore underscore. In, it, on. Which of these is not a core data type in Python? Lists, dictionary, tuples, class. In many programming languages, if a function does not explicitly return any value, what is the default value it implicitly returns? Int, bool, void, none. Which of the following will run without errors? Round 45.8, round 6352.898, 2, 5, round 7463.123, 2, 1. What is the return type of the id function? Int, float, bool, dict. Which core data type do we use to store values in terms of key and value? List, tuple, class, dictionary. Who developed Python? Rich, Guido van Rossum, Bill Gates, Sundar Pichai. Which Python prompt indicates that the interpreter is ready to accept instructions? Greater than greater than greater than. Less than less than less than. Hash, less than less than. Which of the following characters is used to give comments in a Python program? Hash, and, at, dollar. Which symbol is used to print more than one item on a single line in many programming contexts? Semicolon, winking face. Dollar, dollar. Comma, colon, smiley face. Which of the following is not a token in programming? Interpreter, identifiers, keywords, operators. Which of the following is not a keyword in Python? Break, while, continue, operators. The program must be able to handle unexpected situations like wrong input or no input. Error, expression, portability, reliability. Python is a n blank language. High level, low level, procedural, difficult. Python uses a n blank to convert source code. Interpreter, compiler, combination of compiler and interpreter. All of these. Python code can run on a variety of platforms. This characteristic means Python is a blank language. Graphical, cross-platform, platform-dependent. All of these. Python programs are typically typed in which modes? Interactive mode, script mode, both interactive mode and script mode. None of these. The blank mode of Python provides instant results for typed statements. Interactive mode, script mode, combination of interactive and script modes. All of these. Which of the following is not a Python IDE? Idle, Spider, Jupyter Notebook, Sublime Text. To print the value of a variable, Python uses print statement, print function, print statement, print function. You don't have to pay for Python, and you can view its source code. This means Python is blank, free and open source, freeware, open source, shareware. Words in Python that have a special meaning and are fixed for specific functionality are called blank. Identifiers, functions, keywords, literals. Names given to different parts of a Python program are called blank. Identifiers, functions, Keywords. Literals. Data items with fixed values are called blank identifiers. Functions. Keywords. Literals. Escape sequences are treated as blank strings, characters, integers. None of these. Which of the following is an escape sequence for a tab character? A, T, N, B. Which of the following is an escape sequence for a new line character? A, T, N, B. Which of the following is a reserved keyword in Python? Else, import, print, all of these. The input function returns the value as which type? Integer, string, floating point. None of these. To convert the value obtained through input into an integer type, int is used. Floating, float, int, integer. To print a line of text without ending it with a new line, end argument is used with print sep, new line, end, next. The default separator character of print is space, tab, space, new line, dot. Which of the following declarations is incorrect? A underscore equals 3. Underscore A equals 3. A equals 3. All of these. Which of the following are valid string values in Python? 12,345. At $%. Rajesh. All of these. Which function is used to get the data type of any value? Type data underscore type data type data type. Which of the following is not a feature of Python? Platform independent. Low-level language. Python is open source and free to use. Object-oriented programming. Python is a blank programming language. High level, object-oriented, low level, both A and B. In which data type can we store true, false values? Boolean, integer, float, string.
अगर आप CCC या O लेवल के स्टूडेंट हैं तो पेश है आपके लिए आपके सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड 1500 प्लस MCQs। इसमें क्वेश्चंस हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में हैं, शॉर्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन है और आपके डाउट सॉल्व करने के लिए ChatGPT की सपोर्ट है। अगर आप इसे ट्राई करना चाहते हैं तो प्ले स्टोर से Anki ड्रॉइड डाउनलोड करें और हमारी वेबसाइट asmqs.gt.tc पर जाकर अपने सब्जेक्ट के फ्री सैंपल सेट डाउनलोड करें और Anki ड्रॉइड में इंपोर्ट करके इस्तेमाल करना शुरू करें। अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो बाय नाउ पर क्लिक करके गूगल फॉर्म फिल करें। हम आपका 1500 प्लस क्वेश्चन का सेट 1 से 6 घंटे के अंदर आपके व्हाट्सएप नंबर और ईमेल पर भेज देंगे।